is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Micah.
Hey.
And Carrie.
What's up?
The only new game on the docket is Hypnospace Outlaw.
Yeah.
I've never heard of before.
So this came out last year for PC. I had heard good things about it, and it's very much my aesthetic as far as it's an interesting sort of recreation of like the internet circa 1998.
I have seen this actually. I think I saw it with Nintendo, the indie preview thing.
Yeah, so it's interesting. They actually, I think, it actually may be releasing this week. It's getting a port to consoles, including Switch. But you play sort of like an internet detective, and you're fixing problems online. I've literally played like 45 minutes of it. Like, I started playing it today. I bought it because it was on sale on Steam. But yeah, I mean, it's if you spent time online in the late 90s, it's a weird nostalgia trip. But it's fun. It's sort of like a interesting little point and click detective game, basically. But yeah, I haven't had a ton of time for actually playing video games recently because I've been busy doing other stuff related to video games, like arranging a lot of music. So
yeah, I've been spending way too much time playing with stuff to get Twitch streams set up because I'm very much of the Ron Swanson don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing kind of build. Like I can't not do something like to the best that it can be done, or at least try. So which is a huge failing when you're just trying to, just start doing something. Do a lot of prep work.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing new for me. Just still playing Fall Guys, still playing Super Mega Baseball 2.
Nice.
So, Michael, what are you playing right now?
I'm playing with action figures
and taking very good pictures.
Thank you.
Like I said, you've learned very much in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I got a long way to go if I'm gonna catch up to Mitchell Wu. But yeah, it's fun. Keeps me in the house. Gives me something to do. So until something comes out, I need something to come out.
I'm a little concerned because Kingdoms of Amalur has still not appeared in the PlayStation Store for pre-order, and it's supposed to come out on September 8th. And I don't know why it's not in the store yet, because I have money that I'd like to give them to buy the game. It's been on Xbox. It's been in the Xbox store for a while. So
So I mean, at least it's coming out presumably
soon. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't see any reason why I wouldn't. I haven't heard any delays or anything like that. So.
No.
But fortunately, Micah, good news for you. There's a lot of new games coming out this week. You might not be interested in any of them, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm looking at a few, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. And then the other ones, I'm like, oh, I don't want to play that.
So we have No Straight Roads coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Street Power Soccer coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Vader Immortal comes to PlayStation VR. This is a Star Wars VR experience that originated on the Oculus Rift / Quest. I did not play it because it looked silly, and I've really grown detached from Star Wars in recent years. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition comes to PS4 and Switch. Tour de France 2020 Performance Enhancing Drugs Optional comes to the PC. Jump Force comes to the Nintendo Switch. Nexamon Extinction comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Project Cars 3, that series is still happening, comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Wasteland 3 comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So if you want your turn-based action strategy games, that might be a good one to keep an eye out for. Windbound comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And then capping it off, a game that I was actually shocked to see come up on the new release list. That's how out of touch with this series and with, big-time games.
With this sport.
I am not working at GameStop anymore. Madden 21 comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC, featuring cover athlete Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore.
Oh, it is August, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Really?
late August. Yeah. Late August.
It's like football
Wow.
season. Like the NFL season, I think, is supposed to start in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like we would
Wow.
normally be in the midst of preseason right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because when my parents still had season tickets to the Ravens, I would normally go to a couple of preseason games because it was more fun to get drunk in a parking lot and do that when the weather was like warm rather than sub-zero temps in December and January. Yeah. It's the 2020 NFL season begins on September 10th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And again, I don't know if it's because I'm so out of touch with the NFL that I don't hear it being talked about on TV. I don't know if it's because the NBA and NHL seasons and even the previous soccer season have dragged out into now.
Yeah.
Essentially, and so that space that normally the void has not been filled. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't heard about the NFL, but it shocked me that Madden was coming out. Like I couldn't believe that Madden was releasing this week.
Yeah, that's wow. Okay. Go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe. You can see our lovely faces. You can see my I got like a two-face thing going on with like half of my face is like overlit and the other half is like lit somewhat properly, but I still look like I'm ashy.
You just got to get like a good ring light and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I tried this little office light and it didn't really help.
It helps a little bit.
Bags. You see the bags on my eyes and stuff.
Oh wow, the bags under your eyes.
You gotta put a diffuser on that thing, my friend.
Yeah. I need
to soften it up a little bit.
I need to get one, but yeah, go to youtube.com/densepixels, click the bell notification icon and click it again and all that stuff, and you'll be notified when we have a new show that comes up. Subscribe to all the TMP Studios podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, including the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema. We just recorded a new episode last night. What's today? Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday.
Yeah, we just recorded an episode last night on Just Mercy, which is a really good movie that made me tear up. Common Distractions is back. We have a review of Project Power in the feed. Two wildly different Jamie Foxx movies, Just Mercy and Project Power. And the weekly preview episode of Look Forward. Go to densepixels.com/premium for $5 a month, $50 a year. Get access to the premium slate of podcast content, including the airing of grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, Upstage Conversation, and the full episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. That dropped, today? Mm-hmm. And I believe the title was something to the effect of "Gang Bang the DNC" or something like that. Like,
so whenever we do the
Gang Bang the News DNC 2020 edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the running joke that Jay, Andy, and I tell ourselves typically Look Forward is any two of us hosting the show at any point, but when the major thing happens, like the Democratic National Convention, which happened last week, we usually do call it what you will, the 3-man booth, the 6-man tag, menage a pod, or gang banging the news, as we say to each other in our message thread.
Well, I can't wait for next week's episode. That will probably be called Raw Dogging the News, because the RNC is this week as we are recording. So that will be very, very, very interesting. So yes, go to densepixels.com/premium, because I guarantee you are not going to want to miss that episode.
It's going to be pretty good. So far, the first day and a half has already been just exactly what we've expected the RNC to look. So we're going to have a lot of content. It's going to be a content-rich episode next week. Never you worry. The saga between Apple and Epic Games continues, and we've had our first legal ruling in the case. Apple tried to file an injunction against Epic that would cut them off from the Unreal Engine development tools that are needed for Apple's operating systems of iOS and macOS. While the litigation between these two is taking place, obviously Epic fought against this. They even had some a big hitter in their corner in Microsoft on their side. Microsoft basically sending in a letter to the judge, weighing in with their 2 cents. And the judge in the case ruled that while this litigation is pending, that Epic would still have access to the development tools for iOS and macOS. This was the initial shot across the bow that Apple's doing. Obviously, if they cut off access to these development tools, it makes it difficult for Epic to continue developing Fortnite and updating Fortnite in the absence while the litigation plays out between these two, with Fortnite not being in the App Store. And it would kind of set them back a little bit if the judge rules in their favor and allows them back into the store under the terms that they're looking for, or if this just gets settled and they come back. This will at least allow Epic to continue development on the game for Apple systems while the case plays out. So this wasn't a surprising ruling, I don't think. This was just Apple trying to just be shitty and get a leg up in the proceedings, and maybe gain some leverage if they were successful.
This is again, we talked about it last week. This is very interesting. It's
going to be interesting to watch it play out. I'm surprised that we got to at least one ruling. It's for an injunction, so it was expected to happen quickly. But like I said, keep your eyes peeled. This is not a story that's going to go away anytime soon, I have a feeling. So we'll see.
No.
The latest video game to be converted to a board game is going to be none other than Monster Hunter World. It is coming from the team at Steam Forge Games. This will be a cooperative multiplayer title. Not surprising at all, considering what Monster Hunter is.
That's exactly what Monster Hunter is.
And it's going to launch on Kickstarter in 2021. Sometimes the estimated price for the game is $100. That may sound steep, but for any board game that has a copious amount of miniatures, it's really not.
It's about par for the course.
Pretty par for the course, very much.
Yeah.
And knowing most companies that do this, if you back the Kickstarter, there will be a slew of free extras and stretch goals that you will get by being a Kickstarter backer included in that $100 price. This is Steam Forge Games, the same company that brought us the Dark Souls board game, which actually is fairly well received in the board game community. They've also come out with a Resident Evil 2 board game, a Horizon Zero Dawn board game, and a Devil May Cry board game. Before you ask, I have not played any of those, so I can't firsthand tell you how good or not good this is going to be. Much like in the video game world, licensed board games tend to not always be the greatest.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't strike me as the type of person that would like play a board game based off of something, right? Like you don't seem like the type of person that would read a book based on a video game.
Well, there are some. So it depends on where the impetus is. So, like, good example. There is a series of deck building games from Upper Deck that uses the Legendary system. And Micah, you've played this before because I brought Legendary Marvel over to your house, and that is a good game system. So that they throw a license on top of. So, like, I have the Alien Universe version of that game, and that game is very good because the system is good. If they were like, oh, Monster Hunter World is based on the Descent dungeon crawling system, like that would give me a lot of hope because like Descent is really good. So Monster Hunter would probably be good if it's based off of that system. But going in blind, like willy nilly, no, I'm not. I'm not usually the type that's gonna take it on faith.
No.
Good.
No, help an ignorant brother out. I don't play a lot of board games. The board games that I play are I'm the fast food guy, right? I play the fast food board games, and the fast food board games are competitive. What is a cooperative board game? Is it like the stereotypical D&D where you're like you're all working together against a dungeon master telling a story, or like how does this work?
It depends. So in this case, I would imagine it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a one versus many game where you're going to have one player in the role as whatever the monster is that you're hunting, and they'll have a special set of abilities and things that they can use depending on which monster it is.
Well, actually,
they've already
the article explains it.
Okay, very good. There you go.
The game sort of creator director for the board game noted that Monster Hunter is extremely open-ended. Monster Hunter World, especially, like, Monster Hunter is basically a high fantasy looter shooter. Like you can just play it forever, and it's open-ended. Like there's no sort of threat on the table. He says you need a timer to give a sense of value to the actions that you're doing. So the timer comes in the form of in-game expeditions. Players will agree to a multi-session expedition that lasts a certain amount of in-game time, and they will have to spend that time wisely in order to reach their goals. You'll have a fixed number of campaign days. If you want to do an exploration to gain more information about the next creature, that'll cost you a day. You want to do some crafting, that'll cost you a day. If you want to go on a hunt, depending on the complexity of that hunt, it might cost you 2 to 5 days. Kind of managing the time that you have available to you. At the end of your campaign, players are free to start over with fresh characters, or they can begin again, taking their hard-earned gear with them into more challenging encounters. Okay. So basically, you're doing expeditions to hunt specific monsters, to get gear and whatnot, and you will either pass or fail that quest, depending on how successful you are at managing your time.
So this could be cool. There's a game that I have called Detective, which is somewhat in the same vein where you're, like a police detective solving a crime, and you have like a fixed number of hours in each day, essentially. And so like every lead that you go chase down costs you time, and you have a fixed amount of time that you have to solve the case. So I can see this. This seems like it's going to be much in that same way. So I'm assuming then they're going to have, like the monsters that are in the game are going to work like some other, like self-governing dungeon crawl games do, where you're going to have like kind of an AI built into the game in terms of like a deck of cards that has like different abilities, or, ways that you, or some games have it set up where the monster reacts to you based on things that you're doing. So you can
this dude did mention, managing what hunter the monster's sort of aggroed on at any given time is going to be sort of tricky. Also, like, each weapon will have its own deck of cards, and upgrades to that weapon will increase the potential pool of cards available for players to build their decks, which is sort of their action economy.
Okay.
So
it could be cool. Trust me, that sounds better than chucking dice. So sometimes those games can devolve into luck fests. Which are not always the most fun.
I will almost definitely be backing this on Kickstarter once it is available. So.
Well, there you go. Enjoy spending a shitload of money, because sometimes
I will.
Pictures on those campaigns can really suck you dry. So
I'm very familiar with that as far as fucking tabletop Kickstarters.
Yeah. So I gotta say, one of the pleasant surprises from this past weekend was the success, I think we have to say, that was the DC Fandome event that they held on Saturday. By all accounts, most of the things they showed were fairly well received and pretty exciting. I especially enjoyed the Batman trailer. It's probably the most excited I've been for a comic book movie in years. I honestly can't think of the last comic movie that I was actually excited for. Probably the Nolan Batmans, to be quite honest. Yeah, I don't like comic book movies that much, guys. You know this. This isn't news.
Yeah.
But they revealed finally two things that have been anticipated and expected. The first of which is the Rocksteady Suicide Squad game, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, briefly, is literally about killing the Justice League. So to the surprise of no one, apparently, Brainiac is doing his thing in Metropolis. He is mind-controlled Superman, and you play as the Suicide Squad, trying to kill him, specifically Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, and Captain Boomerang. Or I can't do it as good as Micah does it.
Boomerang.
There you go. In the game, we just saw a trailer. It looks very Suicide Squad-y in terms of how it's set up. It looks true to the universe that they're trying to build. The gameplay should be fun if it's based anywhere around the Batman Arkham system. What did you guys think of this initial trailer?
I was like, oh, this is interesting, and then I looked at the date, and I was like, oh, well, then this means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not coming out until 2022, which like really begs the question of like, why are you showing us this right now?
I mean, I get it, right? Like you gotta throw some stuff in there for the DC Fandome, and
right.
I get it. But what I can do is infer from what I see in the trailer and from what I remember from that panel, like they said that it's this city, right? So I guess all of the Justice League are in Metropolis, and each of the 4 characters has, you know, unique abilities, and there are certain things that some
it's pretty obvious from just looking at the lineup. It's like, cool, you have your speedy character, your tanky character, your ranged character, and your all-rounder. And
but you know, I enjoy that universe. I enjoy employing wrestlers as voice actors, apparently. And it looked cool, you know, and it takes place in the Arkham universe, so it looked okay. But you know, it's a movie trailer, like you know, I can't really say too much about it, but I like the vibe that they're going with, you know, like bright, it's daytime, you know, all those Arkham games took place indoors or at night. So it'll be cool to see things in the light of day. You know, you usually have darkness, fog, and all that to kind of hide flaws. You won't have that in this game, I assume. But yeah, I'm there it is.
Arguably more exciting, believe it or not, was the WB Montreal project that had long been anticipated. We all assumed
this is back when they were, you know, putting the Court of Owls shit on the side of buildings and whatnot. Remember when that happened? Like last year,
8 years ago in pandemic time.
Yeah,
basically.
Remember when they were like teasing a Batman game and then said nothing for 8 months? More than that now. It's been like 10 months since they did that.
It's been a while.
We now know what that is, though.
Yeah, we thought.
And there's no Batman. Batman's fucking dead. Thank God. And we get other characters to play as.
Yeah, we thought we were getting a Batman Court of Owls game. Turns out we're getting a Batman side character Court of Owls game. Gotham Knights is going to be a cooperative open world, looks like an action RPG of sorts, set in Gotham City that lets you control Red Hood, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Robin, taking on the Bat villains, including the Court of Owls, which many people are very, very excited about.
What's really funny for me right now in this instance is I'm looking at this article and there's an ad for WGU, which has an owl as its mascot. So like I'm reading about the Court of Owls and there's just a big aggressive picture of an owl from an unrelated company staring at me.
So this is the same folks that did Batman Arkham Origins, which is considered good but not great in terms of the Batman pantheon, very much like the BioShock 2 of the Batman series. They showed gameplay for this. The characters play as you'd expect them to. A lot of folks said the UI and kind of how the game is laid out gives them sort of like Assassin's Creed vibes, just in terms of how that all kind of sits. I can definitely see that. I just think it's cool that it's 4-player co-op.
It's 2-player co-op.
Oh, see now you're raining on my parade, Micah. 2-player co-op.
I thought I read it was 2-player co-op. I will double check.
I feel like that would be mentioned in the article here, and it seems silly to have four
characters and 2-player co-op, right?
Games Radar is reporting Gotham Knights co-op is limited to 2 players and online only.
Yeah.
Well, online only, I understand. The two
Yeah,
player,
I don't.
The two-player co-op doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I'm fine with it.
It's fine. I'm just more is better.
More
That's
is
all.
better. I don't disagree with that. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing what this game is. Basically, how well this game is received. I have made no secret of the fact that I am very, very. No, of course not.
He'll
They're
be in
like,
this game.
oh, Bruce Wayne is dead. Ugh. Like, he's gonna show up at the end and fucking rescue the four of these morons after they get captured by the Joker, beaten within an inch of their life with a crowbar.
He's gonna be like infiltrated by the Court of Owls or something like that.
Yeah.
They're gonna brainwash him or some shit. And a cooperative game not set in the Arkham universe, but using this engine is cool to me. It is the next logical step. It's the only way that series, I think, can evolve, is to, either give it a new city or a new sandbox to play in and make it co-op. And I don't know. Do you think there's some live servicey elements to it? I've seen some people lamenting that there might be some live servicey type things.
I don't know. I don't want to speculate so much on that until we know that they're going to do that, right?
Yeah. This this feels like what I thought Avengers should have been. It is Avengers, you play one way, right? You run headfirst into danger, beating up everything, and you that's fine for what it is, right? Like, I see people making Marvel Ultimate Alliance comparisons. That's fine. But a game like this, you don't have to play it one way. And it just feels like they will have a little bit more variety in how you play. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm not quite Batmaned out, but at the same time, like, I'm gonna be mad if Batman is in it. You know what I mean?
On the plug, it has been 5 years since the last Batman game. Well, 6 by the time this game's come out, since the last Arkham game. And
not even talking about game. I'm just talking about Batman.
Oh, just in general?
Like, yeah, that guy gets a lot of run.
Court Owl's not enough to bring in. That's never really been touched before outside of the comic run. So
no, that's I wish DC gave a shit about their other characters, because it's like, obviously they keep doing Batman both in the comics and in all other forms of media because that's largely what makes them money. But like, it's sort of this I guess catch-22 situation of like, he's the only one making their money because he's the only character that they're focusing any time on. They're not giving any other of their massive roster of very good characters a chance. And it is exhausting, particularly as someone who worked in the comic industry for 6 years. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of Batman. There's only so much Batman that I can possibly give a shit about. And like, I ran out many years ago.
Like, with the success of the critical and commercial success of the Wonder Woman property, with the critical and commercial success, with the commercial success of the CW and the Flash, especially the Flash property, they have, I mean, like every one of their characters is based on a Greek god, for Christ's sakes. Like you can come up with other ideas with these other characters. Green Lanterns can pretty much do any fucking thing they want, as long as you have enough willpower, right? Like, as long as you have enough resource to in your ring and internally, right? Like, there are two resources that you could juggle while while flying around the galaxy or whatever, right? Like, it's not that difficult. I don't even think it's difficult to do a Superman game. And as much as those have crashed and burned, I feel like you could. I feel like there's a way that you could do a Superman game and not have it be just broken. You know what I mean?
Do early Superman, like
Right.
Superman not having fully come into his powers yet.
Yeah,
Like
man.
there are like you put Superman as a character in the right hands of a writer especially, and you can absolutely craft an interesting Superman story where he doesn't just fucking fly in from 3 towns over, zap you with his laser beam eyes, and move on with his life. The issue is, of course, no one's interested in trying. So
Right.
So we're stuck with Batman, who is, you know, a wildly popular multimedia character and is also a human, is capable of having his ass kicked even when he's at his peak. So
The fact that no one has pulled the trigger on more Wonder Woman stuff is amazing to me. Wonder Woman is she's one of the premier superheroes of all time. She is the premier female superhero.
yes, but that's the problem, is that it's Wonder Woman. And clearly women don't play video games, and no one would ever be interested in playing a Wonder Woman video game.
Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. I don't know. But hey, you know, Batman. It's fine.
It's coming. So a leak has suggested that it's possible that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is not going to have a free next generation upgrade when the game releases this fall. We're going to learn more about Call of Duty as you're listening to this, because the debut is on the 26th. And there's a leak that came out that there's going to be 3 editions of the game. There's going to be a standard edition. There's going to be the Ultimate Edition. And there's going to be the cross-gen bundle edition. Now, details are not yet known, but the fact that there is a cross-gen bundle listed suggests that you are not going to be able to upgrade your copy of Call of Duty for free to PS5 and Xbox Series X this year. If you do buy the Ultimate Edition, it is reported that that will include an upgrade to the next generation console. But in the midst of most major gaming publishers offering free, cross-gen upgrades this year for all their games that are coming out this fall, what do you guys think about the potential news that Call of Duty is going to be a bunch of cheap-ass bastards? And really, Activision is going to be a bunch of cheap-ass bastards.
Activision's gonna nickel and dime their customer base? Wow, haven't heard that one before. I don't know. I have no strong feelings about this. I guess it depends on how much the cross-gen bundle costs. Is it going to be like a $10 upgrade? Is it going to be like
$120?
Right. If it's like 15 or 20 bucks to do a cross-gen upgrade, then I think that might even be reasonable in the grand scheme of things, given that the cost of games probably should have gone up years ago and hasn't. So if that's how they want to offset that, then so be it. Yeah, it will ultimately just depend on
I would agree
costs.
with you only if other companies weren't giving that away. Honestly. And like to the point where EA like had a confusing upgrade policy and then we're browbeaten into walking that back and basically said how we're just doing it the way that everybody else is doing it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that Microsoft wouldn't be insistent on this. I don't even know if they can be insistent on this with their smart delivery system. You would think that they would step in given the altruism that they're attempting to display as a company right now. Yeah, Lisa, it's just a hard pill for folks to swallow. Obviously, they're also incentivizing that you just get the Ultimate Edition and call it a day. Honestly, like that's really what that boils down to. Is let's say that this, cross-gen version is, you know, $75 and the Ultimate Edition is $100.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to spend the extra 25, get the bonus shit, and then you got your upgrade, no problem. So, be interesting to see pricing if this comes to fruition. I think we'll be revisiting this once that gets announced. According to Bloomberg News, there's a report that Nintendo is going to release an upgraded model of the Nintendo Switch hardware next year, which could include more computing power and support for 4K resolution on the system. This has been long rumored pretty much since the Switch came out, I feel like, honestly, that we would get like a Switch Pro or like a Switch, you know, Plus edition, essentially. And the report also says that Nintendo has a, quote, slew of games, end quote, planned to coincide with the release of this new Switch, which might explain their relatively light game output here in 2020. Carrie, you are Nintendo expert extraordinaire on this podcast. What do you think about the reports of a new Switch? What do you think about these reports?
Well, it's been 4 years.
Mhm.
It's been 4 years since the Switch initially launched. Can I please? Sorry, my cat is being a cat. But it's I think it's to be expected, given their long-standing habit of releasing, particularly with their handhelds, to do like, here's a DS and then a DS Lite and then a DSi. Like, they came out with the Switch Lite in late 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 2 years since they did that. So yeah, I just sort of, it makes sense. Like, technology has gotten better. Presumably they can pack a bigger punch in the same kind of tiny body. Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna release it, like, why not? I guess it would depend on when they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not going to happen until next year, that whatever. Yeah, Nintendo, particularly Nintendo first party stuff, has been conspicuously quiet for the back half of 2020. They're doing another port of a Wii U game. They're coming out with Pikmin 3.
I thought we reached the end of that run.
Yeah, I thought when they did Tokyo Mirage Sessions that was going to be it, but apparently we were all wrong. So that's coming out. Rumors of multiple Super Mario games, including probably the ones that were Wii U titles, like 3D World, which was very good. And a Switch version of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword has also been rumored / leaked. So yeah, I mean, particularly if they're holding off on some like huge titles like Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2, if these games are going to coincide with the release of an upgraded console, I think that would make a lot of sense for them. But I don't know. Probably going to get it when it releases.
Micah, how much? Let's say, how much would the Switch Pro have to be for you to pick it up?
How much is the Switch now?
300.
Oh, I thought it was still 4.
The Switch?
It would.
Yeah.
Wait,
I don't think it was ever 400.
I don't think it was ever 4. I think it was
Really?
also 3. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it was always 3.
Oh, I spent 400
$400
because I got the Switch and the special edition of Breath of the Wild all at the same time.
It would have to be 150. It could be 200 if they call it the Nintendo Switcheroo.
Wow. Are you saying that you're only going to be willing to spend that much total, or to be willing to spend that much more over a regular Switch?
If I were to buy another one, because my Switch works perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to buy another one, it would have to be $150. because the games that I play on the Switch, I don't really give a damn if they're in 4K or not.
That's fair.
I really don't.
Honestly, if this does happen, I don't care about the graphical upgrade. I care more about the
battery
CPU
life.
upgrade. No, fuck
Oh,
battery
the CPU.
life.
Yeah.
CPU. Like
Yeah.
you put a better CPU in that thing. 'Cause that's the one frustration that I do have with the Switch right now, is that some games can really tax that system in terms of, especially if you're playing online or doing certain things. You give me a Switch Pro, I'm probably gonna buy that too. Like I said,
Yeah.
it could cost up to. So my thought process, if they were to do this, is I think they'd release it at $350, and I think they'd drop the price.
They would drop.
Switch
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, is that the Switch Pro will release at $350, and the original Switch will then drop to $250. Yeah,
we'll see. It's coming from Bloomberg, which means it's coming from Jason Schreier, and I tend to give his stuff more credence than most because
he's a smart lad. That one.
He is. Finally, real quick, Summer Games Done Quick happened past weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
It started last weekend and it ran through Sunday, and I watched so much of it because I was on vacation. So,
but they have successfully raised $2.3 million for Doctors Without Borders, which is pretty impressive considering that they couldn't do an in-person event this year.
Yeah. Now it's down by about almost exactly 700,000 from last year's Summer Games Done Quick, which broke the 3 million mark. But given the global economic condition right now, I think 2.3 million is an incredible amount of money raised for Doctors Without Borders. It is still the like second highest total that they have ever raised for Doctors Without Borders. So yeah, it's awesome. I had a lot of fun watching it. There were some incredible runs during the thing. I would definitely, because you can go and you can watch all the VODs and whatnot. You can go on their YouTube and watch everything. Please go and watch this dude Happy Feet's play Pump It Up for an hour. I have never seen anyone's feet move so fast in my entire life.
Yeah, there. A couple ones that I'm scrolling through the channel now. A couple ones that stand out to me. Mario Odyssey in an hour 14.
Yeah,
pretty
that
impressive.
Was really good.
Someone I love the Mario 64.
the TASBot run in 7 minutes. It's so funny because like Mario picks up speed when he's moving backwards, and so like TAS means tool assisted speed run, right? So they use a robot basically to like fling Mario back and forth, jumping off of adjacent walls, and he like speeds up so quick and like yeets himself through a wall. It is hilarious.
Yeah, and there's like a glitch on the endless staircase that if you just kind of like launch yourself up, I think backwards, like you eventually get to the top of the staircase, so you don't have to actually, you can glitch through the door without having to get the requisite stars, that kind of thing. Yeah, watch a Mario 64 speedrun. It doesn't take long.
No,
and you it's pretty funny.
The Trackmania Nation speedrun was really fun. The Toho speedrun was interesting. I used to play a lot of Toho like 10 years ago. And I was like, they're doing a Toho speedrun. That's weird because almost all of those mainline games are auto-scrollers. So how can you speedrun an auto-scroll? But they played a game called Shoot the Bullet, where your goal is to take pictures of your opponent's bullet hell patterns. So that's really the only game that can be speedrun. And this dude, he did one stage blindfolded, which is incredible to do anything in Toho blindfolded. So yeah, definitely check that out. But yeah, SGDQ, super fun.
I guess it looks like Horizon Zero Dawn can be glitched because there's a 44-minute run to beat that. Silly.
There was a 2 hour 9 minute run of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That's an any percent run. So yeah, there's a lot of weird clips in that game. The Doom Eternal run was pretty wild to watch. So
yeah, let's see, KOTOR in less than an hour is on there as well. So yeah, I've said it before. These people that do this stuff, is just bonkers to me. Like the amount of repetition and knowledge and execution that goes into making some of these runs is just boggles my mind. So, yeah. But yeah, so that is it for the news.
Go to www.amazon.com.
I like how ever since Johnny talked shit on you. You've been picking up the delivery of the.
Hey man, I listen to the fans. I'm one of the few on this network that actually cares about the people listening.
Wow.
So, well, I'm talking about Jay.
Okay.
That's why there hasn't been an airing of grievances or a note on the bleed in forever, because he doesn't care about you people, but I do. Go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon. That's www.densepixels.com/Amazon for all your Amazon purchases. When you go to www.densepixels.com, see, this is why I don't switch it up. When you go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon for all your Amazon purchases, you are helping us out. It is and you don't have to spend anything else. So go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon, and it's the easiest way to help us out.
There's no major stories this week, so we're just going to get right into the post office. We start with John, who talks about of the past decade. Renee Young was one of the interviewers in WWE that I actually really liked. She is fantastic, and damn near everyone will sorely be missed. For those that don't know, Renee Young decided to leave WWE this past weekend, which does suck. She was definitely one of the most professional studio hosts, especially that they ever had. They gave her a run on commentary, and I don't think that was her. That wasn't really her forte. But she's a great she's a great studio show host in the James Brown vein, stuff like that. So she'd been looked at by ESPN and places like that before. So I would imagine she's actually going to go on to quote unquote a legitimate sporting league or something or something along those lines. And he also asked if we heard about the Sonya Deville Mandy Rose stalker situation, which is a really fucked up story. Yeah, yes. Apparently some guy got arrested last week in a plot to kidnap WWE wrestler Sonya Deville. He had the kidnap and murder kit basically ready to rock and roll, and they picked him up, and he basically confessed to what he was about to do, which was pretty fucking frightening.
Yeah, this is the brazen mentality of the white man. He's posting it on Twitter and shit. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm they went through his history, and you saw this dude, and he was just I'm gonna do this, and ain't nothing y'all can do about it. I'm coming where you live at. I'm coming to your house right now. And then didn't he he's like, you better look out your window, some fucking the Scream killer and shit. And he was there. This guy, god damn it, yo. He kind of looks like that guy that is a wrestling fan that just jumps on shit. He's just like, fuck this shit, and then he just jumps on air conditioning units and shit like that. He kind of looks like that guy. And it's really sad, man. I think the rumor mill, the dirt sheets, the scuttlebutt is that they scrapped the hair versus hair match and made it a loser leaves town match so that they can give Sonya Deville some time off to go
to not worry about someone coming to her house and kidnapping her.
Yeah, yo. Jesus
I think
Christ,
I would need
man.
a good mental time off.
Yeah. You need a mental health day after you find a stalker.
Mental
in your
health
house.
month.
Jesus Christ, man.
So
I don't know what the fuck.
You were fucked up, man.
Men.
Yes, men are fucked up. Actually, that's a much more apt description. Eric asks, what is your favorite battle theme that's not from Final Fantasy and or Golden Sun?
I feel called out. I have a lot, actually. I love basically any of the battle themes from the Persona franchise, like, at large. They're all very good. The final battle theme from Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory is very fun because it opens straight up with O Fortuna. And it's it's so over dramatic that it becomes comedic. What else? Fucking the mini boss theme from Ocarina of Time. I really like that. That's I think one of my favorite Zelda battle themes.
Are we limited to role-playing games, or
I don't think so.
I would say no.
Like, there's so much good music out there. Like, all the Castlevania music is good.
Oh my god, yeah.
Pretty much any fighting game except for Tekken. I don't like Tekken's music, but every other fighting game has really good music.
Street Fighter has incredible music.
Street Fighter has incredible music. I mean, goddamn, they made a meme out of the shit.
But would you count character themes and fighting games as battle themes necessarily?
I mean, are they engaged in some sort of fisticuffs?
They are.
Are they battling?
I feel like that's going a step too far. For me, I'm gonna throw an off the wall pick out there as well, a non-RPG pick. And I'm giving you shit for stretching the boundaries of the definition. I too am stretching the boundaries of this definition. And that is the alert music from the original Metal Gear Solid.
Oh.
Which is
I would not
cool.
say that's a battle theme, but it is very cool.
It's good music. Yeah, it's good music.
Like I said, definitely puts you in the situation. And as you're able to stay hidden, it kind of fades out and slowly, ebbs away. I'm just saying because it's the same theme every time when you get spotted. So almost a good excuse to get noticed, just to hear the song.
I mean, especially in them early Metal Gear games, like they were dumb, man. Like they were very. You could just get spotted and just like run around in circles for an hour and just listen to that music.
So, but
Some of the Monster Hunter fight themes are really cool too. Zinogre's battle is pretty up there for me. Like that a lot.
See, and an RPG one is tough because I am definitely so much engrossed in like the Final Fantasy world, and they have so many good fucking songs in Final Fantasy.
I mean, here's the thing about Final Fantasy battle themes is basically from 1 through 6, they're all the fucking same.
Yeah, but then they get divergent. Like easily my most favorite aspect of Final Fantasy VII is the
music.
Yeah, the boss music specifically. It's the best boss theme in the entire series.
I'm gonna disagree with you there.
That's
because
fine,
I think Decisive Battle from 6 is better than the one from 7. Here's the thing, my favorite Final Fantasy battle music is fucking Man with the Machine Gun from 8. I don't even like 8. 8's not even a good game, but Man with the Machine Gun fucking slaps. So I literally bought a Final Fantasy vinyl album. I bought Distant Worlds 2 because it has an orchestral performance of Man with the Machine Gun on it. It also has Dancing Mad, so that's fun. But video game music is good.
Just goes to show you that despite specifically phrasing the question to exclude Final Fantasy, we still made our way.
We still made our way back to
Fuck you and fuck your exclusions.
Leonardo asks, what's a property that you think could be translated into a great video game? He brings up the Zorro franchise as an adventure game as a suggestion.
Give me a resource management sim set at the Rosebud Motel in Schitt's Creek.
Very specific.
Yes, can you tell that I've binged all 6 seasons of Schitt's Creek?
I can.
And am emotionally compromised as a result. That being said, now I want to see that because that would actually be delightful if you have the right writers on it.
Why isn't there a Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining as a video game?
How would that even work?
Well, I figure you could.
Classic first-person MS-DOS adventure title.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you could do that. You could play as the kid trying to outrun your dad and save your mom, and you meet Jazz the Transformer, and maybe he has to
the dude that played the groundskeeper.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Gen 1 Jazz. Or, you could play it, you could maybe you're Jack, right? Maybe you're Jack Torrance and you maybe it's like, what was that GameCube game where it kind of made you think like you were going crazy, right? I don't know. I feel like you could do it though. But I don't have an idea of how to do it. So I guess I'm just full of shit.
Sounds about right.
Malcolm asks, who is the hardest boss you ever had to beat in a video game, not limited to fighting games? I don't think two of the people on this podcast would have limited that to fighting games by default. I'm pretty sure.
The one that immediately comes to mind, particularly just because I fight too, like you have to do it in a half hour, and you have like waves of enemies, and you have to like wipe out each wave in like fucking 2 turns, or else they like respawn back at full health, and it's bullshit. I had to tweak with the difficulty settings on the game to like trick the game into letting me do way more damage than I was doing. Yeah, I think everyone who I've talked to who has played Persona 5 Royal basically said that the Okamura boss fight, I guess I wouldn't qualify that as hard. I would qualify it as bullshit. Cause like once you figure it out, it's whatever. But just bullshit more than anything else.
Isn't that what most boss fights are at this point now though? Like just a bunch of bullshit, right? Like it's a bunch of like they're patterns obviously, but they just kind of crank up the damage for bosses. Like I can't remember a boss fight that was like that I had to think and use all the skills that I outside of like a Zelda game.
I was just about to bring up Breath of the Wild. I actually found the final boss fight against Ganon. Like, in not when you're like on the horse and like shooting with the arrows. That's very easy, but that's meant to be cinematic. I meant the one like in the pit of the castle with like nasty Spider Boy Ganon. I actually thought all of the boss fights in Breath of the Wild were pretty tricky and like actually required you to do some thinking as far as what you were supposed to do in certain situations.
Leonardo posts a gif of Lazarevich from Uncharted 2. And that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Like Lazarevich is a bastard, Like it took a while because he's just first of all, the arena that you fight him in is not flat, and it's not like there's a lot of climbing and jumping in the arena to avoid this maniac.
And you're basically running in a fucking circle.
In a circle. You're running in a circle. Like it's so anticlimactic, man. And it's just bullshit.
For me, this is a weird one because it's not hard because the execution is difficult once you know what to do. But the first time you fight any Destiny raid boss and you don't know what the mechanic is that you have to do to damage them, you're going to be sitting there for a good, hour or two with your team, just trying shit and wiping and just experimenting and wiping until someone finally cracks the fucking Da Vinci Code to figure out what you're supposed to do during the damage phase. And then you actually have to do it. And then, like, if you're one of these, like, pro Destiny streamers that play 8 hours a goddamn day, you can get that shit down to a well-worked science. But when you are, a filthy casual like me, those fights are always very difficult, especially when you're not playing with people who are necessarily well-versed in doing what you're supposed to do during a raid fight in Destiny. So that would be my choice for.
How are you supposed to? How like if you're the first people to reach to find the Taken King, right? Like the raid Taken King boss. How do you just know what to do, yo? There's a lot of jumping and like it's wild, man.
Right, but the thing is that the encounters are so well designed that there's stuff that you do going through the dungeon itself that you don't think much of, but then it always kind of culminates together when you get to the boss fight, and it requires you to kind of draw back on some of the stuff that you did earlier to understand what you're supposed to do. But if you ever watched, like I said, whenever Destiny releases a new raid, I love watching the world's first race and seeing these guys try, because these are guys that play this game all day every day, and they don't know shit, and they're going into the raid relatively underleveled because you can only do so much in that first week that the raid comes out, and just watching their process of going through and watching them like temper frustration as they're trying to like work through everything is always a really exciting thing to do. And I'll still never forget watching the last Wish raid, which took the first team 19 hours to complete, which is just bonkers.
That's so wild to me, man. That's so wild. Have y'all ever done that? Have you and your team ever done that, or has someone known? I mean, obviously, right? Like people kind of like the raid has been beaten, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, do you guys go in there like with one eye closed? Just trying to figure something out.
The folks that I play with, the first time that we do a raid, we do try to avoid watching spoilers, and we try to go in as blind as we can. Just the first time, just to see if we can figure it out. We usually give up on that before we make it out of the first encounter. So, because banging your head against a brick wall for 2 hours is not always the most fun way to spend your weekend. Malcolm also mentions, how about Pat McAfee on TakeOver? So, Mike, you didn't watch TakeOver.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch.
Yeah, they had a match between Adam Cole and former Indianapolis Colts All-Pro punter Pat McAfee, who has had scripted beef with Adam Cole for like the past 2 years, as Pat McAfee has been, a commentator on NXT and stuff like that. And surprisingly, Pat McAfee, when rated against other celebrity wrestlers in history, and there's a long list, probably is on the top of the list, honestly, in terms of celebrity wrestling performances. He looked the most like a regular ass pro wrestler than anybody ever has before. Like he was worlds better than Stephen Amell, who was probably the best person besides him to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Where do you rate him against Stephen Amell, who was, he was a celebrity, but he actually looked like he put in some work to try and get this done. And, he was working with 3 other guys, in his match, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, this was a one-on-one match, and Pat McAfee, like it wasn't just that he was proficient technically in the moves he's executing, but he understood the psychology more than most people do. And the other thing that he did, which celebrities don't typically have to do, he did a clean job for Adam Cole in the middle of the fucking ring.
Oh, he lost?
Oh, yeah. Of course he lost. Come on.
I mean, look, man, I've seen Snoop Dogg do a double leg takedown on some wrestlers, yo. Like, it's like, come on, yo. Like when you're a celebrity, you get celebrity strength, right? Like that, your strength level is boosted by 100%. So I figured, all right, this guy's a celebrity, so he might. Well, I guess he's not a Hollywood celebrity. When you're Hollywood, then I mean, yeah, it's like God mode, right?
No, he did the job and he did it clean in the center.
All right, good. I'm glad because like it's Adam Cole, like it's the face of that brand, Like, what are we doing?
So, but like I said, he looked good in the loss, which is all that you can really ask for. He took a Panama Sunrise or Panama City Sunrise, Micah. So,
oh, all right,
good. Warren says, have you guys checked out High Score on Netflix? I don't even know what High Score is.
It's a new documentary.
Documentary.
I haven't watched it yet. A friend of mine has started watching it and says it's very good. So,
okay. Well, I will watch it. So, no, I absolutely have not watched it yet. Randy says, what games do you play with your family? We're going to have 3 very different answers on this question.
I'll get mine out of the way first. My wife, in a bid to try and appeal to what I want to do, she was like, "Hey, let's play a game." So I'm like, "All right, well, let me play a game. Let me find a game that I think you would like." She's played 2 games that she's liked. One was Mario Kart, but that was a little too advanced. And the other is Everybody's Golf or Everyone's Golf, and she really liked Everyone's Golf. Like she will from time to time be like, "Hey, you want to play that golf game since we can't go to Top Golf?" I was like, "Sure." So those are the 2 games that we play.
I guess I'll go next because I'm the next chain up in the like the complexity factor, I guess. So we typically stick, my wife and I, when we do play a video game, to co-ops, because playing anything competitive that I play regularly would not be fair because I play a lot more video games than she does. So we play a lot of Overcooked, Diablo 3. We play pretty considerably. Tried to get her into Borderlands. She doesn't really jive with FPSs too much because she hasn't had too much practice in that arena. But those are probably the big ones for her and I.
I play Monster Hunter with my husband. That's about it. My parents don't play video games. So, sometimes, like if my dad is around, on the rare occasion that my dad has been around while I'm playing a video game, he will offer unsolicited commentary on what's going on, which is hilarious because he's never played a video game. So
I thought about getting my wife into Dauntless. I think she could handle that. So that might be something I still try to venture into doing. Anthony asks, favorite and worst holiday to work at GameStop. So let me first jump right out in the front of this. There is no good holiday.
Yeah,
I was like it's like even like 4th of July and Easter, which is slow. You don't want to be there on those.
Right.
I never minded working Easter because it meant that I didn't have to do something else with someone else for Easter. I'd rather make money than be forced to go to a family event on a holiday that I don't even celebrate because I'm fucking atheist. So
this really boils down to the battle between 3 separate holidays, and one of them is not even a real holiday, but 3 separate holidays. So it's the battle between Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Christmas Eve. Those are the 3 that you have to decide between. I'll let you guys go first. We'll go in order of tenure, which I guess would put Carrie as the first up to make this call.
Okay, so what? It's Christmas Eve,
Black Friday,
and what?
Thanksgiving, which you might not have even had to work.
No, the earliest I ever had to work was like 3 a.m. on Black Friday. Didn't love that. I would honestly say, like, working Black Friday, I don't think I ever ran into like too terribly many problems. Because like people would come in and stuff was sold out, and usually they would be like, oh well, like obviously it's sold out because I waited until like 3 p.m. to do it. Like I never had anyone be mad at me on Black Friday. Just worked weird hours. So I would prefer to work Black Friday if I had to choose Black Friday and Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve sucks because you have a bunch of dumbasses out there being like, why don't you have anything left? It's Christmas Eve and I'm doing all my shopping right now. And I'm like, because you waited until right now to start your Christmas shopping, and Christmas is in 4 hours. So I don't know. Maybe these things are correlated to each other. Who fucking knows? Certainly not me, the person who's stuck here on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is also when you get the most amount of people being like, "Oh, I can't believe you're working on Christmas Eve. Oh, that's so terrible. You're working on Christmas Eve." And I was like, because you're here, and that's why I am here, working. Oh, you should be home with your family. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it should be.
You were at Towson Town Center at 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve. You want to know why I'm here on Christmas Eve? Yeah, Christmas Eve sucks.
Micah.
I didn't work on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we didn't do that while you were around, so.
Nah. So for me, it's Black Friday and Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I generally didn't work too many of those either. But the one time I got robbed was Christmas Eve. So that left a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, it would have to be Black Friday. And it's just Black Friday just because it's busy, right? And it's just a mass of people just meandering in the store at any given moment. Some of them trying to make deals, right? Like, oh, well, what about like, nah, this ain't CarMax. This ain't a car dealership, yo. We're not here to haggle, man. Like, well, this is buy two, get one free. I bought this game for $199 and this game for $199. Can I get this for $44.99 for free? Like, no, dude, no, that's not how it works. And you know that's not how it works. Get out of here. Like, no, we're not doing that.
I told you, my favorite move from those people would be the guys that put the two cheap games on the counter, and then once you scan them in, then they put the expensive game on the counter. Like,
right, as if the system will not automatically detect which one is the cheapest game.
It's determined by the order that we scanned them in. That's
right.
Here's the two, and then here's the free one. Like, nah, yo, it don't work like that.
Insane.
Man. And guess what? Even if it did work like that, I would just take it off and then rescan them because fuck you.
So shockingly, you would think that I was there for I think 4 or 5 years that we were open on Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving evening, as it were, because we were only open from like 3 to 10 on that day. So you would think that I would say Thanksgiving. You would be wrong. I liked working Thanksgiving because you had a relatively small crew. Like, we only brought in 4 or 5 people on Thanksgiving because, you know, the whole time you're going to have a line the entire night and you just rock that shit out. And you know it's only going to last for 7 hours and you just roll with it. And that's it. Black Friday by proxy became much more bearable once we started opening on Thanksgiving, because anyone that would have been there at 5 a.m. or at midnight on Black Friday came on Thanksgiving. And so you don't have to worry about it. The only answer to this question is Christmas fucking Eve, because by the time you get to Christmas Eve, you're fucking over it. Like, you've already endured the entire holiday season.
Any amount of Christmas spirit that you went in with has long been exhausted.
It's gone. Like Carrie said, everyone that shops on Christmas Eve is waited till the last minute, so they're panicked. They're usually stressed out because they're going to 18 different stores. They're shocked that you don't have the hot item that's been sold out everywhere for the longest fucking time.
3.5 fucking weeks.
Right. They're shocked that the stuff that's been on sale in these pre-Christmas sales isn't in stock anymore because we fucking sold it all. They're upset because you have to save some stuff for the after Christmas sale that's coming up on the 26th that you literally cannot sell because we advertise that we have it. So you have to have some of it in stock, or it's false advertisement to do that. And people are just generally more shitty, and you close at 8 o'clock and you want to get home, but oh wait, you have to do some setup for the after Christmas sale that's coming on the day after Christmas as well, and that takes 2 hours. So you're not out of there till 10 fucking o'clock at night. All you want to do is go home. Christmas Eve sucks. I hated Christmas Eve. It was the absolute fucking worst. And when you ran a store, you were always closing on those days because you were the guy that was expected to be there. So Christmas Eve is the only correct answer.
I closed a few times on Christmas Eve, I'll have you know.
Yeah, but with your store manager, right?
Maybe.
I would think so.
Like maybe you and I closed Christmas Eve.
You might have been there too.
Yeah.
But I was always there.
I remember like going home like after working fucking like 8.5 hours, dealing with the absolute worst people on earth at Towson Town Center, and going home and my parents were like, "Oh, aren't you so happy it's Christmas?" And I was like, "Fuck you," and I was like, just went right to bed. So mad at everything.
The mall was actually the best place to work for these holidays because when the mall closed, you were done. Like, you didn't have to fucking worry about it. Whereas,
man, you go to a regular brick and mortar store, Jesus Christ, yo, like those people, they don't leave. They don't leave. It's like they don't want to go home to their families. Right. Like, just because you hate your family, don't mean that I hate mine. Jesus Christ, man.
So we got to do that GameStop part 2 again at some point.
We do.
And I'm gonna read Gerard's question. Gerard, we've answered this question a million times. I'm sure you can find stuff in the group if you want a full list.
I will provide a list of things.
There you go. He's a casual gamer between work and parenting and an active 3-year-old. What do you think I should play in my downtime for the Switch? Carrie will give you a full list. We've been over this a lot on the show, so I'd feel remiss if we went through it again. But there's a lot of suggestions that we made over the years out there.
Go buy Guacamelee. It's like dirt cheap, and it's really fun, and it's funny, like legit funny.
And it's a great game. I played the shit out of Guacamelee too when I downloaded it on Switch, until I beat it. So that is the post office. Thank you guys very much for submitting your questions. You too can submit your questions to the Dense Pixels post office by going to densepixels.com/fans on Facebook. As Mike mentioned earlier, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/densepixels and click the bell icon to be notified whenever new content gets posted. We have heard you. We have been thinking about doing it ourselves anyway. We too are growing tired of Facebook shenanigans. So we are slowly but surely working on setting up a Discord server for the Dense Pixels fandom. More on that later. Once I have time to actually
figure it out,
fuck around with it and actually learn how Discord works, because I've never really fucking used it before. But you can still check us out on Twitch. Carrie's streaming Monster Hunter regularly at Suppets Carrie. Terrence is still doing his thing at Apparition 410, and I'm going to get started on somewhat of a regular streaming schedule at Dense Pixels Brad, streaming a variety of stuff, whatever I happen to be playing at any given time. But you can bet that on September 8th, if it makes it into the PlayStation Store, we will definitely be streaming some Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning when that comes out, because I'm very much looking forward to that game. And not Avengers, because no thank you. Even though Terrence completely flipped the script on his Avengers opinion in the past week, apparently.
Yeah, he says that now. He ain't buying it. And I'll tell you, look. I'm buying it because I'm a sucker. I'm a shill. But I'll
really?
Tell you right. I'll tell you. I'll give you an honest opinion, because everything I've seen is people either just they can't wait to shit on it, or they can't wait to fillet it, and it's as usual, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So I'll let you know, and then I'll go play Kingdoms of Amalur, because I feel like I'm gonna get tired of playing.
I'm personally looking forward to picking up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, since that sounded like a week.
There you go.
Thank you all very much for watching, listening, and we'll see you all.
Thanks.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.